My name's Tom Stein. I'm 30 years old. Today's date is October 4th, 2015. I'm at the International Rescue Committee, and I'm the husband of Marissa Stein.
My name is Marissa Stein. I'm 31 years old. Today is October 4th, 2015, and I'm at the International Rescue Committee with my husband, Tom Stein.
Okay. Marissa, what was your childhood like?
You're gonna just dive right in, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. What was my childhood like? My childhood was confusing. I don't remember much before 5, but after 5 years old, it got really confusing.
How come?
My parents got divorced, and we moved to California with my mom, my siblings, and I. My dad stayed behind in Arizona for a little while. He came a couple months later. So all at the same time, my parents got divorced. I moved to California and I started kindergarten. Wham bam! And my little brother was born. So a lot happened within the course of a year. But
What do you remember about Daniel when he was little?
what do I remember? You know what I remember? I remember somebody gave us t-shirts that were pink. And in blue writing, they said, "I'm a big sister now." And I had one, and my older sister Rachel had one. And that was kind of it. I remember that he used to cry a lot. And when we would spend the night at my dad's house, my mom would always come pick Daniel up because she was still breastfeeding. So he never stayed over with us. And I remember when he turned into a toddler, I had to share a room with him. And in the middle of the night, he'd wake up and he'd turn on the lights, and it would drive me crazy because I wasn't able to sleep. Yeah.
How'd you
We're
get
a lot
along?
further apart in age than you are with your siblings.
Yeah.
I think I was 5 years apart from all of my siblings, and you and all of yours were born within 5 years.
Yeah. And how was it like growing up with Daniel as a kid?
How was it like growing up with Daniel? It wasn't as bad as some people say it is having a little brother, though he was still a bit of a pain. I think I was his friend. I think I was his only friend. Rachel was 5 years older and 10 years older than Daniel, and she was kind of moody doing her own teenage thing, and I was the only one that would really play with him. So we played a lot. We built forts together. He used to come to my softball games and dress up. He liked to play dress up. He used to steal my skirts because he wanted to be an Irish man wearing a kilt. Yeah. Or he'd steal my mom's pantyhose and put them over his head and pretend he was a robber. You never played dress up, huh? Probably not like
as much.
that.
It wasn't as creative.
Though I think your sisters dressed you up in skirts sometimes, no?
I was older, so they wouldn't dress me up. It was more I'd be involved with it.
Yeah. Did they ever paint your nails?
No.
Oh, you got off easy.
Well, it's a good thing of being the older child.
That's true.
Yeah. If I was the youngest, it might have turned out differently.
That's true.
And tell me a little about Rachel.
Rachel was a lot like her daughter Ava is today. You know Ava pretty well, and you see what she's like, so you can imagine what Rachel is like. Very hard-headed, very stubborn, really smart, and very, very driven and motivated. She also had her own sense of style. I remember that.
What do you mean?
It was back in the 80s. Her side ponytails. I remember her double socks. You know, the pink and white on the left side and then white and pink on the right side with the two socks layered on top of each other and scrunched down.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I only know that because I had an older sibling, but you were probably too young to remember that from the 80s. Yeah, and I remember her taste in music. That's how I learned about Madonna and Milli Vanilli. Do you know who Milli Vanilli is? I think we've talked about this before. Yeah. That's why I know all the Madonna songs when they come on the radio. It's all because of Rachel.
Yeah. Did you ever play with her when you were a kid?
Not really. I don't remember ever playing with Rachel. I know we did play with each other because I've seen family videos. But again, I don't really remember anything before I was 5.
No, but when you were like 6 and she was 11, say.
Nah, she was a preteen. I don't remember playing with her then.
But you did with Daniel when you were 11 and he was 6, say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think by then I was probably playing with Daniel and Rachel didn't want to play with us because she was older. I don't remember her playing much.
She a serious kid?
She was a serious kid. It's the way you see Ava, her daughter now, with her younger sister Alyssa. Ava's the boss.
And you're the goofy one.
And I'm the goofy one. So is Alyssa. Yeah, their family dynamics are pretty similar to ours. It'll be interesting watching your sister Ashley and their family dynamics. Because her oldest is a boy. It'll be interesting to see if he turns out like you.
Or her.
Or her. But you're much more mellow. I don't know. How would you describe the difference between you and Ashley?
I was much more mellow, easier going, quiet, kind of internal. She was much more high-strung, feisty, angry, impatient as a kid. And would really, stick up for herself and everyone else around her. I was more go with the flow.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell what Connor's going to be like, her son.
Yeah.
But so far, he's just very easygoing and happy.
Mm-hmm.
But also pretty active.
Yeah. Well, and both her and Brandon were very active children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's
what about
gonna be
Casey?
fun. Poor Casey. Casey came around. She was the youngest one of the bunch. She was born when I was 12, and Daniel was 7 at the time. She had a good first few years. And then I think by the time she was, 12. By the time she was 5, as Rachel and I used to say, tish tifa, the shit hit the fan. And that's when the second divorce happened with my dad and my stepmom. That was Casey's mom and my dad.
What was Casey like as a little kid?
She was super cute. She laughed a lot. She liked playing a lot. She had a tough time growing up in a household with all older siblings.
What'd she like playing with?
She was always sort of a princess. She really liked her dress up and her dolls. She liked her American Girl dolls. She had a whole playroom in our downstairs of our house. But I remember we used to play bowling for babies. That's what my dad called it. And Casey would run across the floor and we'd throw pillows at her feet and try and make her fall. And she loved it. It sounds a little abusive now when you think about it, but she loved it. She'd start giggling and she couldn't wait to do it again. Yeah. What did you guys used to play?
All sorts of stuff. Like you said, we're all really close in age, so we all love bike riding for outside stuff and just running around inside in Virginia. See, so like when I was in like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, we like building things, like playing chase tag down the basement. We play with like toys and action figures. I would get my sister, mostly Missy, to play with Ninja Turtles in exchange, and then I would play with her little ponies. And we played dinosaurs and video games. Outside, we had a swing set.
You guys must have played a lot. You're really good at playing.
Yeah,
I think you're a lot like my dad in that sense. My dad's good at playing too.
Yeah, boys like to play.
Did you have many outside friends that you would play with, or did you mostly play with each other?
It was a mix. I think moving around so much as a kid, we always had that built-in network as friends with our siblings, because we were always the new kids and didn't always have friends from the get-go. But yeah, we would have friends over and stuff. That I feel like that happened more as we got older, though. When we were younger, we all played together more.
As you got older, in the sense, like as you moved to California?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once we moved to California and I started like middle school and stopped playing with Ninja Turtles and things.
You didn't want to play with your younger sisters anymore?
Yeah, and I think they also, Missy and Leslie then became really close. And Ashley always kind of did her own thing.
When did Leslie start talking?
Yeah.
Everybody always talks about how she was mute. Is that true?
She could talk. She was just incredibly quiet and shy and chose not to. Even I remember when she was in kindergarten and I was in 5th or 6th grade, we were like big buddy, little buddy, and they matched the 5th and 6th graders with kindergarten kids.
And they matched you with your sister?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I asked for it.
That's
and
sweet.
Even still, she would just kind of talk with me like mumbling under her breath.
Even with her brother?
Yeah.
Would she talk to you at home? Was it just the setting?
You know, it's funny. I didn't think much of it then because she was my sister and I assumed it was, it's just how it was. I never really thought much about it. But yeah, she was just really quiet.
Why?
I don't know. She had 2 other very outspoken sisters. For the same reason I'm kind of quiet. Yeah, well, Missy would always speak for her sometimes. To her, not always to her benefit. Missy was the mischievous one and would sometimes, oh, Leslie wants a cookie, and
And then take the cookie.
Yeah, stuff like that.
She's
and so,
sneaky.
Yeah, Missy was always the sneaky one. And Leslie was just a little partner in crime, whoever, just an easy buddy to play with and go along with your plans. She was never really the leader. She had a very strong older sister to take the lead.
What do you think Missy's kids are going to be like? I
don't know. Missy was a super happy kid. super happy baby, just laughed all the time and wanted to play, and super creative and, you know, and very playful too. And I don't know about George.
George seems like he would be a troublemaker too.
Yeah, I think they both were. I could see them both as like mischievous kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, mischievous and smart and maybe too much for their own good, get into trouble.
When is she due? Any day now, no?
Later this month.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
You think Leslie and Drew will get married?
This is going to be in the Library of Congress. We can't say that.
But then we can look back in a couple of years and see if they're still together. If they are, that'll be a good story.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Maybe they will still be living in a tiny house by then. She's sort of the wild card, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, she's definitely grown out of her little quiet shell. She's the, who really knows?
It's funny because you're sort of a wild card too. So you have the oldest and the youngest that make their own path. And then the two middle children are the ones that follow I don't know, how would you describe that?
Yeah, no,
it's follow normal protocols.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because, Leslie and I we're like 5 years apart. We were close as kids, but not super close, growing up. I think just because of the age gap. But I think as time's passed, I've seen that we have a lot more in common than I think in some ways than even I do with some of my other sisters in some ways. And yeah, Ashley and Missy are much more by the book, which is interesting because growing up, Missy was not necessarily like that. She was more although she does have her creative side ventures, her bachelorette board game and cooking book.
Yes, she does.
What was that?
Her bachelorette board game and cookbook is called, I think,
Tell
Blushing
me about
Bride.
her bachelorette board game. Why don't you go into detail about that, Tom?
I'd actually have intentionally not looked into it that much.
Your ears are turning red.
Yeah, that happens. But it's a board game that she created with the focus of being used for bachelorette parties. I believe it's called Blushing Bride. And there's a board game and cards and props. And
what kind of props?
I don't know. And I kind of don't want to know. But you can probably use your imagination. Again, we shouldn't be talking about these things. This is going to be in the Library of Congress.
Only if we want it to be.
It's going to be trouble if George runs for president or something.
That's true. He better not run for president.
Yeah.
I don't think George would want to win. Actually, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Who would be most likely to run for president?
In my family?
In both of our families.
Nobody.
I'd say Brandon.
Brandon's not political.
Huh.
Yeah.
He's the most stoic. He probably has the cleanest slate.
Yeah. He wouldn't have the interest, though.
Yeah. Definitely not Daniel.
No. none of the girls in my family care about politics.
Yeah.
My dad would joke about it, but wouldn't take himself seriously.
Yeah. I think you and your dad are both both very similar in that you have these lofty dreams of being big and famous one day, and you always use that voice when you guys talk about it. But if it ever came down to it, you would never in a million years act on it.
No. No. It's more just fun to talk about.
Yeah, you don't actually like being in the spotlight.
No.
Just like dreaming about it.
Yeah. Or talking into a microphone right now.
I know. You don't really like that, do you?
I wouldn't be a very good radio host.
No.
But yeah. Way to kill the mood, Tom.
You didn't kill the mood, honey. I think Mike Wagner would run for president, maybe. My
Mhm.
brother-in-law.
I can see that.
He likes to BS.
Mm-hmm.
And he can be very persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder about him and Rachel sometimes.
How so?
Just how they work. Why they work.
Aren't they both very... I feel like they're very... follow protocol. Schedules.
Yeah.
Do as you're expected to do kind of thing.
Yeah, but they're also they're both pretty stubborn. I think Mike has to be a little bit more easygoing than he would be naturally.
We're both stubborn.
That's true.
Yeah.
We butt heads. You came out of your shell with me. You fight back with me.
I had to get you out of your shell.
That's right. That took me by surprise. I remember when we first met, I thought you were going to be more of a pushover, and I wasn't really all that interested. But you proved me wrong.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So we like to go on road trips, and I'm looking at a map.
Are you going to pick our next road trip?
I was going to ask you, what's your favorite
Where should we
place
go
we've
next?
been?
My favorite place that we've been, one of our road trips?
Mm-hmm. Or otherwise, anywhere.
Well,
Doesn't have to be with me.
okay, well, that was two different questions. So I'm going to start with where's the favorite place that we've been. And that's easy. I have to say Lassen. That's where you proposed.
And other place
Change
in
the
general?
subject. Too deep. Mayday.
Part 2.
Part 2, my favorite place in general. Italy. Which actually surprised me that I said that. As soon as I said that, I thought Barbados. But no, Italy.
You were happier in Italy than you were in Barbados, though, no?
I was. I wasn't very happy in Barbados. But the beach was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
But the pasta
just
was
couldn't
the
really
most
enjoy
incredible thing you ever...
The pasta was the most incredible thing I've ever eaten in my life. I had pasta for lunch today. But it wasn't the same. It's never the same. If I had 5 days left to live, I would want to fly to Italy right now and just eat.
What would you have?
Pasta, pasta, pasta,
Anything in particular,
gelato,
specific kind?
pizza. I'd just get real fat. As fat as I could get in 5 days off of pasta. And I would be so happy.
It's funny because I would probably want to try as many beers as I could.
Yeah. Where would you want to go to do that?
Probably not Italy.
Probably not. They're
They're more
not
of a
really
wine
known for their beer.
culture. I don't know.
That's a hard one because a lot of the good beer is here in California, but I don't see you wanting to stay in California. You'd
Yeah.
want to travel.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
What is
And
it
the
that
places
you like
I
about
like to go, like travel-wise, haven't been historically good beer cultures.
That's true. What is
Middle
it
East
that
and
you like
Southeast Asia.
so much about beer?
That's a
I
good
don't know
question.
if I've ever really understood that. I just know you really like it.
Mm-hmm. I do. And I think I've just learned to recognize and appreciate a lot of the different bits and pieces about it, and how many different versions and so much variety, and from a scientific perspective, how you can control all those like parameters, and just from almost more of a conceptual perspective, the way that it and agriculture and history and heritage all kind of come together. And a lot of historically, the different styles you have are representative of different cultures and different environmental conditions where those areas are.
You are such a nerd.
Yeah. You asked the question, why do I like beer?
I know. You're so funny.
No, I'm thirsty. Here on Sundays on my days off. Wait.
What beer are you going to drink when we get home?
I know we've got got two of the hop sack ones from Roostaller, or the fresh hop ones that they gave so we could try the different hop farms.
Are we ever going to open a brewery?
I don't think so. It'd be fun. Kind of a pipe dream concept. But I think I'd be too scared of all the money and risk involved.
Yeah, me too.
Don't have
That's
a
too
$500,000
bad.
lying around to get going.
I think we'd be really good at it. Maybe. I think we could be really good at it. I think we would be a little bit too lazy to be as good at it as we would need to be.
Yeah, I'd want to have a life and a weekend.
Yeah.
The
Work-life balance.
startup entrepreneurial lifestyle isn't easy.
Mm-mm. But a bed and breakfast. Now let's talk about that.
Are you going to open up a bed and breakfast, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe when we're we're older and our kids are moved out and we have so much money we don't know what to do with it anymore because we're not paying for college tuition anymore.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have so much money we're
We're
not
gonna
gonna know
have
what to
so
do
much
with
money.
it.
Yep.
Both in our nonprofit jobs.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. It's gonna happen. When we're gonna be like our parents' age. Empty nesting.
So open.
But still a ton of energy. So we'll do the natural thing and start our own business. You think you'll still be brewing by then?
At home, yeah. Not as a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me this. When we have a son or a daughter, how old do they have to be to start drinking beer at home?
I don't know. I know my dad gave me a sip when I was maybe like 8, just in case I was curious, and under the premise that if I wasn't curious and I knew what it tasted like, I wouldn't be tempted to do it myself. And to an 8-year-old, beer tastes disgusting. So, yeah. So
Are you going to teach him how to make it?
Yeah. Just like making bread.
So when our 8-year-old goes to school on Monday and the teacher says, "What did you guys do this weekend?" And they said, "Well, I made beer with my dad." Are we going to have to deal with CPS?
I don't think that's a problem for CPS.
I'll just let you take that call.
Yeah. Again, we can't have these conversations when the Library of Congress is going to have.
We could use this as evidence, maybe. We never meant harm.
Against ourselves.
What if they don't like beer? Would you be really disappointed if we have kids that grew up to not be interested in making beer whatsoever?
No.
It wouldn't crush you if they didn't like or enjoy your hobby?
No. I don't think so.
Hmm.
We've all got different hobbies. We like doing different things. That's the way it goes. It'd be kind of neat to, share interests and stuff, but, don't really take it personally that way. I don't get upset at you when you don't totally geek out about beer like I do.
I'm pretty good. I'm a good sport.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's really awesome about your parents. Is whatever your hobby is, they at least pretend to be interested in it too. That's nice.
Yeah. No, it is nice. I think it's been hard too to keep up because I think in a lot of ways we're all very different and wouldn't naturally be interests of my parents. But and I think it's kind of confusing too. I mean, even just explaining to them the work I do, and that changes quite often.
It does change often. You bounce around.
Communicating that is kind of confusing for them.
Yeah.
Especially kind of like the refugee resettlement stuff. It's not really as straight and narrow as being a doctor, lawyer, teacher, banker.
Yeah. But you wouldn't be happy doing any of those things.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe one day.
Never know. Well, not now, but
Never say never.
never say never. That's exactly right.
You're awesome.
You're awesome too. What does our future hold?
Oh, dear. I thought you told me we weren't going to talk about our future. Babies.
Babies is in our future?
Babies is in our future.
That's it?
Wow.
Just babies?
probably the most important thing. Maybe some travel.
Where travel?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just gonna have babies and travel around and be happy.
Sounds good. Get a motorhome and
Yeah. And we can finally check off all of the national parks off of our list. I think we have, 35 more to go? Something like that.
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think our future holds?
I like babies, travel, and happiness. I could get on board with that.
What do you add to it? You gotta raise me one.
I'm still thinking about beer.
Babies, travel, happiness, and beer.
Yep. And hopefully a functioning car.
Yeah. You know, I was reading an article. I didn't actually read it. It just showed up on my news feed about a couple that had been so in love and they just died together within 11 hours apart at old age. And I was thinking, that's probably going to be us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Makes you say that.
I don't know. I just think we're going to be one of those ridiculously sappy couples.
I
Like
just
from
worry
The
about you
Notebook.
bumping in and falling down stuff.
That's true. I may die early. I may hurt myself. But as long as that doesn't happen. I think we'll make it. I think we're strong.
Mm-hmm.
You say that
And
unconvincingly.
sappy. No, I'm just laughing still.
Yeah, and sappy. We're not very sappy in public, though.
No.
This is about as sappy as we get, and this isn't a microphone.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm out.
All right. I'm out.
I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.